Well, good morning. This is Scott, your Hoosier Marshal, coming to you this Wednesday morning from my hunting blind. This morning is the opening morning of turkey season here in Indiana, and I'm in my blind with the decoys set out. I've already called and had a Tom respond, but he's on the next property over, quite a ways away. And now the game is to keep calling to try to get him to come to me and my decoys so I can get a shot. Okay, I just concluded the hunt for the morning. It's a temperature in the high 30s, wet, breezy, windy. First thing I had a Tom gobbling at me, but he was on the next property over, and I could never get him to come to me. So I'll go home and drink some hot coffee and have some breakfast and see what the next hunt brings. I thought I'd give you a little look of the woods I hunt in here. I'll flip her camera around because I have to pause it to flip it. This is Mrs. Marshall's deer hunting blind that I use for my turkey hunting blind, and it gets the job done. I have the little flaps down over the screens so I could see, but when it's cold and windy, you can put those up and it blocks the wind. You can see this section of the woods is kind of low and wet, and you see that line running through there, that white looking line. That's the farmer gets maple syrup from these trees, and he has a whole maze of these lines set up. You can maybe see them off in the distance there on the other side of that wet spot. But they're lined all throughout these woods. It's kind of a pain in the butt because you have to crawl over them or duck under them. But it's a good place to hunt. Just no turkey today. For about 10 minutes there, the crow moved in, and they were so loud I couldn't hear myself think. I should have thought to grab the phone and get some video of that. And kind of walking out here, you can see the maple syrup lines over there, and this is typical of a lot of farmland here. I pan over, there's an old school bus that the old farmer years ago just drove out here and left it, and there's scattered debris like that throughout here. But it's still a beautiful place to be. It sure beats being at work, that's for sure. So I'll stop the video here, walk a little farther until I get up on some higher ground, and give you a little better view. All right, here we are up on a little higher ground. You can see more of the maze of the maple syrup lines here. Like I said, they're a pain in the butt for the hunters out here, but the animals don't seem to mind. I've watched the deer duck under them, jump over them. It's like they know they're here and they just know their way around the obstacle course. And here's a trail that the farmer keeps mowed down somewhat. It's not a very long trail, but they keep it mowed down a little bit so they can get in here, I'm sure, to do what they want to do with their maple syrup. And the nice thing about this stand of woods, it's on one side it's always a bean field, on the other side it's always a cornfield, and that's perfect habitat for wildlife, especially deer. The corn, the deer love the corn because when it's grown they can hide in it, and it's always good when the farmer's able to get the corn cut down before deer season really kicks in, because it takes away their place to hide. And you can see here one of my ladder deer stands, which is right on the edge of the cornfield, and there's quite a pathway here that the deer travel, and that's obviously why I put my stand there, because they walk right underneath me. All right, we'll go ahead and walk down this little path back to that main mode trail that I was on earlier. Take a left turn and we're out of the woods. It's a little brisk morning. My hand is cold just holding this phone. I think that probably has something to do with why the birds weren't doing much today, other than the crows. Not the birds I was looking for. Here we're back on that mode path. And you can see the main maple syrup line that they have that runs all the way through this field down to the road. I'm assuming that's where they, I don't know how they do it, but that's where they pump it or whatever they do. But a little soupy. And give you a little bit of view of my world, and you can still hear those noisy crows. So that's the end of my cold first day of turkey hunting. And there she is, my Mossberg 520 gauge. I'll do a Freedom Friday video on this shotgun. If it could talk, the stories it could tell. Just give you a little view from the road of where I go for peace and solitude.